What up, what up, what up? Episode 2. I hope y'all like episode 1. If you hadn't had a chance to go check it out yet, don't leave this room until you finish dealing with us before you go check that one. But we're about to get started here. Shout out to everyone who followed us on week 1, but this is week number 2, episode 2. And we're going to start this song off for you guys. Every week we're going to have a new song. We're going to start it off this week with First Love, Higgnz featuring O.Verses off the Children of the Marsh Volume 1 soundtrack, The Conjure of Cujo. I said it right this time, fellas. Boom!
Y'all check that album out, man. It's fire.
Let me clear my throat. Roses are red, violets are blue. My first love was you.
When Run DMC meets Aerosmith, you get Paul shaking up a can of aerosol, a pitfall of America. How some believe this? I call it just cause it's genius. They say hip-hop is a bad rap game, will catch seers. When old dirty told us Wu-Tang is for the kids. Kids become adults and their heart stays young. When they hear an MC rip apart a couple drums, keep it real. The culture, every color, ill. Bombers take a piece to show you how to use the color wheel. The walk, the talk, the thought, the dress, the soul, the game. I'm so obsessed. Passion for the crisis, my passion for the mic. Ain't trying to ration with no one, can't understand that this is life. So celebrate it, the method, the meditation. Hip hop will never die, cause it's self-preservation. My first love.
That was First Love, brother, and I'm gonna get it right this time. No buzzers. We're not gonna start the day off with no buzzers. We might get them on the back end of the show. But that was the first song that me and you actually did together. Yep. And I was, as reiterating on the story, is what happened is that at the time nobody wanted to touch it. I had that verse written like probably before I even knew you was rapping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I saw, I don't know, somebody shared your video of you spitting in the first place, and I was like, well, who's this guy rapping? You know, I knew you was in the, who's in the backyard, so I sent you a friend request. Well, anyway, it was originally set for CPC, which was me, PJ, and MCJ. Like, I was going to do, because we hadn't done a song together. Fuck. It's been 10 years, since I can remember we did a song together. Well, I thought it fit them perfectly because both of them love hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even Jay, he's older than me. He grew up in the true vintage era. So he they just procrastinated on it. And then he's like, and Jay finally come out and said, I'm not feeling it.
Denied.
Nobody. Who else? You know what? I got something for y'all. This is my way of getting back. I'm gonna get the rookie.
Put me in, coach.
I'm gonna holler at O.Verses, and I guarantee you he's gonna have that. He had that shit ready the next day. Damn it. My verse is already written. It's ready to go. So,
yeah, I heard that beat, and that's hip hop. That's hip hop. That's what
And you want to know what's funny?
I grew up on.
This guy, you was just telling me about like this beat. You sent it to me. Then the next day, here you are rapping on it. I remember you sending it to me.
Yeah. I said
that the next
this
moment
beat is awesome because I had just done a beat like that to take me back. I was like, man, I wish I could find more beats like that. So when he hit me up, it was like, yeah, I got a feature if you're interested. I said, definitely. He sent me the song, and I'm like, man, it's like, what? Like, this is, I love it. It's still one of my favorites. I play that shit all the time.
It's a cool song. It's got a like little jazz horn feeling to it. I mean, it's a vintage record. Like, it doesn't sound, obviously, it's not new school. You know what I mean? But it's meant for that reason to take you back to that time.
And we're gonna do a video to it. We dressed like Will Smith and everything.
and he's gonna film it. So, but dude, when I got into hip hop was that when Run DMC meets Aerosmith, you get Paul. Like that's for real, you know. And I remember being a kid, like that was one of the first things I seen. It was something about that 808, bro, and the way that, because I heard Walk This Way before that, you know, and I remember hearing that, just the rap fusion of it, and like I fell in love with hip hop ever since then. And what was so cool is how they used to tear up the turntables. Yeah. Like, you never seen nobody take a record and go wicka wicka wicka. Exactly. You always told you better not touch that fucking record. You gonna put a scratch on that thing. And I got my first ass whipping, bro, from doing that. Because what happened was, my older brother had records. Yeah. I mean, that's what they spun vinyl at the time. He was a teenager. I was like 4 or 5, and I got like
couldn't help yourself.
I got a Fisher Price record player. Yeah. You know the Fisher Price record player? I mean, I don't know if I remember them. You might be young, but they used to sell them just like they sell any other fucking toy. And dude, I took his records off like wasn't home, and tried to be fucking Jazzy Jeff or you know what's Run DMC's I can't do that. What we got? What dude? It's killing me. Killing me. No. We got.
Here we go again.
Dude, this fucked up. See, here we go. I gotta
Google
figure.
Man.
No, I know his name. Jesus Christ. Motherfucker.
This shit ain't funny, motherfucker.
So we got Run, we got DMC, and we got motherfucking dude, that's sad. I can't
Google
remember
right
his name.
there, dude.
Here we go. Embarrassing. Brain farts today.
Brain.
Jam Master J. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
We're just gonna talk that up.
Yeah, I'll take an L for that. I'm gonna take an L for that. Let's get into the homework now.
Yep.
Well, first off, you wanted to pay how? You actually had to go to work.
Yeah. So Saturday I went to work with my wife, and just to help her out. She had missed Friday. She had something to do. So Saturday she had to go in. So I said, all right, let me go in with you to help you out. So when I got there, I mean, I know she tells me what she does daily, and I know how much she works, how hard she works. But when I went, it's like you stepping into her shoes. You're stepping into like what she goes through, what effect she has on these people. She works at a nursing home, so I got to kind of see the other side of it, the stuff she has to deal with, and it kind of made me understand more of what she's dealing with when she's coming home. So I had an idea. I was like, man, it'd be pretty cool if you just followed your spouse to work for a day. Not saying it, just watching them work, see what they have to deal with, so you know what they're coming home with. Because a lot of times you know how hard they work, but you don't have to go through it. You don't have to see it. So I mean, that'd be pretty cool if every employer just let you bring your spouse to work, you know, and let them see
that
what you do.
That would be dope. You know what?
Yeah.
They got a spouse day. They should have. You're right.
Yeah.
But see, you know, it's not gonna work in every department.
No.
But I mean, if you had a spouse day, that would be cool.
Yeah.
It should be celebrated.
Yeah.
That's a dope idea. That's a dope idea. We're gonna what's today? What's July 23rd? I think today.
July 24th.
July 24th is Spouse Day.
Yeah, spouse.
We put it out there. July 24th is Spouse Day.
But if you ever in a position where you can do that and go see, even if it's just for an hour or 2 hours, just do it, man. It's gonna give you a whole different understanding of what they're going through. A lot of times they come home, they bring that with you, like, or if you're doing something, you're at work, you're grinding, and you coming home with that. They come to your work, and they're gonna see what you're going through, so they're gonna have a better understanding of each other. You know.
Well, dude, like just to work in a nursing home for one.
Yeah.
This is like you're
That's gotta be
dealing
tough.
with.
Yeah.
You're dealing with some, people. This is old people who cannot fend for themselves anymore, and some of them can be stubborn, like they don't even want to be there. I could just imagine. I'm sure there's patients who don't want to be there, who take it out on the nurses in a sense, But dude, that's tough, like, because it's not a child who's incapable. It's an old person.
Yeah. That's set.
Some of them are like vegetables, man. You gotta move them around. You actually gotta. You know.
And the
Right.
thing
You
that
gotta
hit me
help 'em
is that the way they reacted to her, she was like she brings life to them. Especially so for her to give all that to them and to come home and be tired. I mean, sometimes I know how hard she works, but sometimes like, man, like you just get. So I can. It gave me a better insight.
All right. What this is they got to go nursing home live.
What did he just say?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because it's a new way to say it. They have to actually put on when they don't feel like, even when they don't feel like it. Like your job is not only to just make sure that, but to bring energy to the environment.
Yeah.
As a nurse, just in general, not even so much nursing home, but I mean, think just
Anytime you're caring for somebody,
you're on your way to somebody's room. God bless. When I get in that, I gotta change the catheter. I'm probably clean shit off the bed. It's like you're gonna be some nasty shit you might have to fool with, and
Never
know
know
it
what
on
you
your way.
walking into,
And you gotta walk in and tell them it's all right. It's
Yeah.
all right that I gotta clean your shit and
You gotta comfort them, you know.
Yeah.
Because
when you act out around somebody, they gonna start acting out, you know.
Right.
It's like a chain reaction.
It's an energy you put out in the room. Like you can walk into a room and change the whole environment just based off
Your vibe.
being positive, you know.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably more than anything in a job, really.
Yeah.
Everything else kind of flow motion, but that's probably the most challenging part of it is being able to put on.
Yeah, keep it positive.
Right,
Yeah, especially when
Yeah.
even if stuff's not going right in your personal life, you got to put all that behind you and put the face on for your patient, for whoever you're caring for.
It's a practice. One of the things that a friend of mine's chiropractor, and when he told me, and I never thought about it like this, is like everything, like medical is a practice. And the reason why they define it as a practice is because you never finish learning. Like no matter how great of a doc, you could be the best at what you do, but you never finish learning, and that's why they call it a practice, because you're encountering new situations every day, and your job is technically is to troubleshoot it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like based on signals and vibes, and like your job is to troubleshoot. And the same thing is, even though you're just a nurse, it's still a practice. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
they're constantly learning, right? They're constantly learning how to evolve and make decision making easier. Just like we discussed yesterday about a mechanic.
Right. Yeah.
And how, like when they lose this mechanic, it's over.
Yeah.
It's
This old guy, let me tell you something. He can walk up and all you gotta tell him is what's going on, and he's like, well, it sounds like a fuel filter. Like he just goes right to the problem, man. He's been around it for that long, and and he's about to head out the door, and like, God, I just don't know what's gonna be like when he's going.
That's why you got to give the knowledge to the youth.
I tell you what, they're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
Cause the machines ain't gonna get up, back and running as quick as it was.
They're gonna be calling, begging to come back. He's gonna walk up and say, "Hold my beer."
I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice.
He ain't coming back.
Nah, probably not coming.
He's been waiting for a long time for this, man.
Right. I wouldn't come back either. Because most people like that are probably underpaid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
underappreciated.
He probably makes more money on side jobs at his house than he's doing making that.
Right.
All that jobs is for his benefits, his health care, and retirement.
That's why he's able to say. That's what it's for. Right.
Yeah.
He's able to say, fuck you.
But we talking about practice right now.
Yeah.
I'm about to get out this bitch. And I can't wait till I roll out. But yeah, it's that's. Nobody who gets just because you got a certificate doesn't mean you're great at what you do. Like, there's a real science behind everything, and craft, and it really comes from putting your hands on it. You have to experience it to know how to deal with it. Even if I tell you, look, you're gonna encounter this situation one day. But until you feel it, it's it may be giving you advice, but it doesn't.
You have to go through it to really
apply it.
Yeah.
Right, and be like, oh, that's what he was talking about.
We talking about practice.
Yeah.
And that's just the human experience in itself, bro. But and what I was telling you, like, this is a great topic, is because just recently I can reiterate and actually talk about the same situation. So like, my wife is actually a stay-at-home mom.
One of the hardest jobs in the world.
Right, yeah. Which is very underappreciated. Yeah. It doesn't receive any market value. You know what I mean? Because it's not profitable. So it's fucked up, because that's what makes a human being. Like, human nature, we supposed to, we should not have to abort our children to go, like, make sure we keep a roof over our head, in a sense. Like, at least... we go back to the beginning times. There's a reason why we're men and they're women, and their job is to fend for the,
nurture.
fend for the nurture, fend for the household. It's our job to go out, like, naturally, like, we are bred to, like, go out and hunt and bring it back home. It's very important to our culture, and it's just kind of being treated like an afterburner, and that's where these turnkey kids come up.
Just a turnkey kid with a flip back lid.
That's where this shit comes up.
Yeah.
Because the way the market system is set up is that it takes two people to be able to fend and be able to pay the bills to keep a solid foundation under the household based on the way the market works. You know what I'm saying? It's fucked up. It's capitalism.
You cheating the kids out of the parenting.
And I'll tell you what, it's very stressful the way it's set up.
Yeah,
it's not human nature. Right. We're beyond human nature. Credit is not human nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different if I say, hey, bro, I need a cabbage, dog. I know you got a cabbage. Cornbread and cabbage. My apples ain't bloomed yet. As soon as my apples bloom, I'm gonna give you enough apples to cover that motherfucking cabbage. Right. It's a whole different ball game than borrowing on credit some shit that don't exist. Well, let me go back to the story, because I'm carrying this into a rabbit hole already. Well, she actually took my daughter to her World Series, with her softball World Series. She plays travel ball, which is messed up, because in a sense is that it didn't pay off for me financially to go watch my daughter play ball, which is where I should have been.
Yeah. Right.
So I had to be the daddy. That Mr. Mom is what I call. The movie Mr. Mom. Yeah. You've seen it. So I had to play Mr. Mom for a week. I used my ego, dog. I'm gonna tell you, all right. I played it off like. So how was it having to clean the house and do this and do, man, I do that shit. You ain't
got to lie.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm fucking clean out, like, the house is clean, ain't it? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that bitch is clean, right? Right?
Yeah.
Nah, that shit sucks, dog.
It's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
Fucker. I got it. Well, see, we got pets, too. Man, fuck that shit.
Yeah,
it's difficult, man. Because you gotta think, she's not only playing the role as mom, she's playing as the role as, like, a therapist. Because she's got you coming home, she's about to listen to your bullshit, your day, what happened at your job, and and here you are being, thinking, yeah, your day was bad, but listen, think of putting your shoe on. She just had to clean shit off the walls because the 2-year-old just went on the diaper on the wall.
And even when the dad's home, if the kids need something, it's naturally to go to mom. Mom, where's this? Mom. So they really get no break.
Playing doctor, therapist.
But it goes all the way around too, because like he said, the dad's like the protector, so it says you have more stuff on your brain that's
right. You're thinking of the things that you guys. What happens is when you have children, you kind of your mind states kind of separate themselves in a sense.
Yeah.
Because you're targeting, like the older you get, you know what I'm saying? The more you're targeting what you feel like you need to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
And she's targeting what she feels like she needs to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
And it could kind of, and that's where the relationship becomes a science, where it really becomes a practice.
We talking about practice.
Yeah,
it's a practice.
A compromise.
Right, which is technically it's a practice.
Yeah.
Like you get better at being in a relationship because.
But that's why I really believe that spouse day would really work, because when you see
it
what it would be like when the shoe's on the other foot,
You need some odor eaters.
communication would become more clear.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And on both ends.
It would be a lot of
ends.
benefits.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All my guys that got strippers as girlfriend, like, hey, look, TKK.
and dude, for the most part, like I think all of us seem like we're in a stable relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's funny if you really think back on the climb, how everybody gets to understand each other's needs and each other's feelings. That's why this spouse day thing is an excellent idea. Even if you would have to go out your way to kind of simulate something for, and make fun out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like make it a fun experience. I think people would absolutely respect each other more. And dude, like I said, keeping up with like the house, like God, I gotta wash dishes. Like one of the biggest things was for me is you constantly gotta ad lib. It's like, I'm gonna get this motherfucking kitchen clean. I'm gonna whip I'm gonna whip your motherfucking ass, kitchen. I'm gonna bust your fucking, and then all of a sudden you hear, Daddy!
Yeah.
Daddy! Like, what the fuck? And go back there and this is one of my experiences, honest experience. I'm whipping the kitchen's ass. I'm fucking, Daddy, right? The toilet got clogged in the back. And he doesn't understand how to flush the toilet. So, it didn't flush. He didn't, ring out.
He kept hitting
Whoosh, shit in the toilet. You know what I mean? He just overflowed the toilet. Didn't tell me he was going to take a shit. So now I gotta,
Now you
I
take the apron off, done cleaning the kitchen, now you're up in there with a plunger trying to get
now I gotta clean the
to an emergency.
Shit.
Yeah.
Right. So now I gotta deal with all this bullshit. And the kitchen won. It didn't. At the end of the day, I could have knocked the kitchen out a couple rounds.
Finish him.
So now I gotta go back there and clean the bathroom and make it look presentable enough, because she comes home before this is there. I might gotta hear about that shit. So yeah. It's a challenge. But it all, it's a refresher also, because it's like, all right, well, I can help with this, because it's hard to keep the fucking house, because you want your shit to look immaculate, right?
Yeah,
right, yeah.
So it's hard to keep the house clean. It really is, like, to do everything clean when you got kids, bro.
Oh yeah.
That shit sucks.
See, a while back, it's crazy how this stuff works, because a while back when I used to work at a job which was very demanding, I used to always have to be on the road, working, everything, come home, never really home, because I'll come home, get 4 hours of sleep, and I'm back on the road again, you know? And now it's like the shoes on the other foot, because like now I'm Mr. Mom now.
Yeah.
And she's always on call, running, doing whatever the post office needs her to do, you know? So I'm like cleaning the house, and that's one of the things that really got me, bro. It's like, man, like the stuff she goes through every day. Like it's because we have 2 kids. How many kids you have?
3.
How many kids you have?
3.
Yeah. So we can all agree that, man, you jumping from one kid's needs to another kid's needs.
Yeah,
My daughter, she's got therapy and everything she's got to do, and my son, and he's a little troublemaker, I'm not gonna lie. And they love to make mess around the house. You know, you cleaning the house, you jumping from cleaning the house, then your wife calls you up and she needs you to do a couple of things real quick, you know, put in her little order.
Yeah. And here's the deal. I got, you know, like for my kids. So here's my personal problems with them keeping up tabs on the house. So you know, I got one's 15, one's 12, and they girls. So, you know, like they fight all the time, but they love it. It's crazy because you know they have a real love-hate relationship.
Yeah,
so I'm telling my wife like they're gonna
getting on to?
They're gonna be both of them. They both do it. They're gonna be best buds when they grow
once they grow up,
just by seeing, you know, because they can't do without each other for too long. But you know, but they fight constantly. So they always arguing about like, all right, y'all need to do this. So what they'll do is they'll try to put one off on the other. Like, I ain't doing this because this one didn't do nothing. Like, nah, you gonna. So you gotta debate with them and try to like tear their lives apart just to get them to do something because the other one wouldn't do it. What about her? What she's doing? Always worry about what the next one's doing. Just try to get them.
Yeah. And you know how they work because you were a kid. You were. I mean, don't even come at me with that. I invented that, so I know what you're trying to do.
Yeah. So y'all dealing with teenagers. I'm still dealing with toddlers right now. Yeah, I didn't get there yet.
Oh, when they get teenage.
Right now, we still fighting over Shark to do, you know? That's what we fighting over right now. That's our battle.
Yeah, but you'll miss those arguments. Those are the easy ones, bro.
Yeah, when the iPad dies and now you're looking for the charger because they freaking out, you know?
Yeah, and when they're that age, everything's pretty much timed. You kind of know what they're going to want at this time. You know what I mean? Like, all right, I know he's going to be in need of this at this time, or he...
Oh yeah,
this time.
Yeah, they on the routine. Yeah,
you know their tendencies.
Right.
Yeah, when they get to a teenager, it's off the wall. Then
they become unpredictable.
They start getting emotional and shit. Especially the girls, bro. I never had to deal with a teenage boy yet, but I mean, if there's anyone I think I may be able to kind of pick off ahead of time, it's probably gonna be him. Yeah. Because the girls just, I can't even. It gets to where. Like they start talking, I don't know. Like I don't get it. I cannot. Right now, I cannot relate to what you're saying right now because this shit is crazy. Yeah. You know, and you know, wife kind of laughs at because she gets it right. Yeah. But yeah, dude, no. But yeah, we got a spouse day. We pushing for spouse day. That's how
That's it.
Spouse day.
Spouse day. Yeah.
Hashtag that we're gonna make
spouse day. Yeah.
Well. Alright, now it's gonna get crazy. Now it's time to get crazy.
Go crazy! Go stupid!
We were looking for topics. So how we play in this game is we wanted to do like one conspiracy a week. And we actually had the moon landing set for this week. But yesterday, we saw something online about the Vatican finding thousands of bones underground while searching for a dead body that was supposedly missing since the 80s, right? Like I think it was the early 80s.
Yeah.
And it was a priest who worked for the Vatican whose daughter wound up missing. And
they said she came up missing in the middle of Rome coming from a flute lesson. She was having a little flute lesson, and they said that was the last time she was ever heard of or seen or anything.
Right, and then she wound up. Well, they didn't find her yet. They don't know who these bones are supposedly at this point, but they found the bones leading from a statue of an angel that pointed directly to the caskets.
It was to a tomb. That was supposedly be two German princesses. And here's the thing. When they opened that up, the two German princesses, the tomb was empty. And so they said about a couple yards away, underneath the stone slab, they opened up as like a little crypt type deal. Yeah. And there was like, the guy said on estimate about 1,000 or 2,000 bone pieces. Mm-hmm. Yeah, big and small. adult and child. It was just a pile of them.
Right, it was just
mixed up. It wasn't even like a skeleton on top of a skeleton. It was just a pile of bones.
Right. So now the question is, who the fuck are these bones? And is this girl in them? And why are they there?
Why are we not hearing about it on more of a mainstream level? Like, why? Like,
well, it hit the mainstream now.
But not. I mean, like stuff like this everybody should know. You probably saying it, and most people watching it probably hearing it first from you.
Well, check this out. Is it like this? Is it like you know how they say when they, you know, like dude got busted for 2 pounds of weed, and then he comes home and he says, you know what I mean, like, I actually had 3. You know what I'm saying? You know, is it like that? Are they downplaying how many bones were in that fucking tomb?
Yeah.
But you know, go away from that. But the thing is that's crazy because. Like, how many things is the Vatican are going to be accused of before
action is taken?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what's crazy is, when I first read about it, and so the first thing I came up with a little idea. I know I work with a lot of older guys, so there was about teenagers in that time. So when a lot of that stuff was going on back in the 80s and stuff, you know, so I didn't tell them what I read. I just went up in there and said, hey, y'all, you know, back in the day, y'all used to read a lot of stuff about the Vatican. And, dude, these are the type of guys, they don't really like to talk about conspiracies. When I try to talk about Area 51 with these guys, they're like, dude, that's retarded, bro. Get out of here. But when I spoke about the Vatican, they said, man, these guys, like, the Vatican, they always did have stories about them. And they told me about the story with the priests and the nuns, and they was telling me about like a whole bunch of stories like it was no surprise to them. And then when I told them about the missing girl, it didn't come as a shocker to them, and they was like, yeah, that's been going on for years.
And that's actually a lighthearted, you know, thing that you presented to them, you know, based on what they really say about the Vatican. Yeah. And here's the deal. You know, once we said Vatican, I tried to do some research. Well, what I found was that the way the Vatican structure works is that the Vatican is its own city. The Vatican, that's why you can't just storm the Vatican. The Vatican is its own country. And it
answers to no one.
Right. It answers.
They even have their own bank.
Right. Yeah. Right. It answers to no one. They have their own bank. They have their own structure. They're basically run by the Pope.
I run shit here. You just live here.
Right.
Which they say is that they're run by the Pope.
King Kong ain't got shit on me.
So they're a dictatorship in a sense. So like they kind of have they run their own government. So they don't, you know, they can clean things up really quickly.
No taxes, nothing. It's like it's like a whole different world inside of our world that we can't even question or anything. Like he said, how much stuff is going to come out of there before anybody takes action? And I can understand, like, maybe when they first started, it was a good group of people and then you go, okay, we're going to leave them alone. But as time goes on, people you think they're not going to be bad people that try to infiltrate that group and turn it into something that's not. So when you're hearing all these stories, then you can be like, okay, well, we're going to come in, we're going to step in. But now they're so powerful that you can't even say that. Right. You can't even say that. I mean, like, they answer to no one.
You're right. When you go back to, you know, ancient times, like religion and belief systems was the benefactor for reason why everybody fought over everything based on what we read. You know what I mean? Right. And like, the winner always gets to tell the history, you know, and they've been the ones who've actually figured out how to marketize and you know, capitalize, you know what I mean, off of religion and create a monetary system and an industry off of industry. So like, you know, they've been able to, they're the Bill Gates of religion. They've been able to create their own structure and own their own city. It's their own little island. When you really go back and that's the thing, like, about our society and our history and how shit fucking came into play. They're supposed to be a religion of Christianity, love all, be all. everything that they've done to get there was created through violence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you
violence.
ain't gonna you're not gonna.
You know how many wars they had in the past over just religion alone?
Right, and not saying that it's so much their fault because it's an ideology. Like, you know, just like Nazi was an ideology.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they was able to implant an ideology that got them to where they at. You know, and you're not gonna be able to make it in this world and run this world without being able to be gangster.
Yeah.
They straight gangsters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, but where the real sinister things come into play is how they work in secrecy. There's the lot, like the Vatican Library in itself.
And they said that thing's like miles long, huh?
Right, and it carries documents that
throughout the entire history.
It's not open to the public.
Yeah, right, no, nothing.
And they actually, you know, like they have like the Dead Sea Scrolls, all those old scriptures that are famous that you hear all these stories about is inside. You know,
I was
they
reading
find a way
an
to get their
interesting
hands
story
on it.
about a document that was in there about like a priest who built a time machine to go back because he wanted to record the moment of the crucifixion.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was crazy.
I seen that yesterday.
Yeah.
I even
So
see
you read it, right?
Like
Yeah,
like in
I'll
that,
take one.
it's the biggest collection of porn you'll ever see.
Oh.
Like thousand, like they got so much stuff.
All the
that
stuff
comes out
I
of
heard
it.
today from them old timers about the
It's right there, the bottle of film that's in.
all that stuff. I'm sure they do.
Like, you ain't gonna get Oh, you want the Bud Light? All right. Well, I'll drink the Corona.
Well, you gave me a Bud Light.
I don't know,
You
dude.
didn't
I'm
give me
just
one
handing.
for Oscar.
I'm just doing whatever. Yeah.
Handing out beers. I'm just handing out beers.
The beer, man.
So I get stuck with Corona.
It's cool.
I didn't even drink beer. 1 month with these dudes, I'm drinking beer.
Pretty good.
Let me get one of them. They look good. I'm saying, what did?
So we're talking about one of the things that was in that vault supposedly about the priest building that time machine to go back to record the moment of Christ's crucifixion.
I tell you what, I did see that. Google the name of it. What was the name of the time machine in the Vatican? We're probably gonna get the answer. But dude, he said that not only did he say,
I think this is it right here. Right
it's
here.
like a C, a name with a C. What the hell was the name of it?
Said that he observed among the other historical events Christ's crucifixion and photographed it as well.
Right, but there was a name of it.
Look, right there.
The name of the machine.
Is that it right there?
No, that's a news video. Let's see. Hold up. It started with a C. But no, I seen that yesterday. So he said that he went back in time. He saw that. He saw a speech from Napoleon. He saw... Dude, I
They
don't
said
fuck it
you
up.
can
He saw a
actually
couple
go.
of
You
other
can actually
things.
go see it. They got it in the book. They were, you gotta go
Right,
read
but
it.
that, you know, and usually those things they show. Whatever I saw yesterday, saw a picture of it, but it was real sketchy to look at.
Yeah.
You know, and they say that he has he don't have it no more, but the Vatican still has the machine.
Right.
The Vatican still uses the machine. It's the conspiracy. You know.
Well, that part I don't know. I have to call BS because if they had a time machine, wouldn't you think they would go back and fix all the mistakes, and we would never even know about these legends and these.
So
yeah.
So if we're gonna dig into you know, like we're going down the rabbit hole right here. Like let's say that everything that the Vatican sees, you know, they're not fixing. What if they're pushing this? And the thing is it's you know, they don't want to lose power because what happened if you really expose the truth to everything that you know and you make people believe that, you know, the truth is out here, this is the way the world works, they lose all power. They basically lose, you know, they're giving their muscle away. At that point, then, well, if that's the way the world works, then, you know, and if you're able to do this, then I have this. I don't need you to tell me, you know, I don't need to work through God. I don't need you to work through God anymore. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't need you.
Boy, you know you need me.
They're using the Vatican is is supposedly the medium through God, and that's like they're controlling that shit. So if they tell you all the truth, everything that's hidden, all those secrets that they know, they tell you all that shit, then they lose their power.
Right.
Because eventually somebody's gonna, you know what I mean? Like it's gonna be reinvented. They're gonna be reconstructed.
Yeah.
What's so dark and sinister about the Vatican is that they say it's been infiltrated, like years ago, you know, and you get into like the Freemasons and shit like that, and and there was an interview with a guy who is a journalist in Rome or whatever, and he said that the thing about Rome is, you know, the Vatican City is it works the same way any other city would. You've got your good and you've got your evil.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's basically admitted that there's some dark forces inside there.
Within the Vatican.
But who's gonna stop the evil if they answer to nobody?
I run shit here. You just live here.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's probably to the point where it's so corrupted where it's more evil than good. But even if they want to stop, if they answer to no one, there's no stopping it. And they keep the mystery of who they are, what they're doing. Like there's no stopping it until people stand up and say, okay, well, we got questions.
You want to know how good it is at what they do? Pope John Paul I, which was a pope that was, you know how they had Pope John Paul II, which was probably that was the one I grew up.
Which one was didn't they have like an assassination plot?
Yeah, they said
that. I think that was the second one.
Right.
They said that's when the corruption really started. Is when
I think so.
But I think it originated with corruption.
Before that, no.
Man, they saying it's been going on for like centuries.
Oh, it's been going on for centuries.
Yeah.
Like the politics that go into getting to being able to just be eligible to be the pope, like to climb up the political ropes.
Yeah.
You know, because you're dealing with a bunch of dudes who not even supposed to be able to have sex. Can you imagine the aggression that they got inside of them? Like
King Kong ain't got shit.
But we'll go there later.
Right.
The Vatican is its own closed city.
Supposed to be like the holiest place in the world too. And you know, and another thing that had me in thought though is like, could that be an example of the reach of the devil? Like man, he can manipulate these people. Like that's somewhere in the Vatican way you think he wouldn't be able to, you know, touch people, and he's manipulating them to do these evil things. Could that be an example of his reach? Like,
yeah, it could be.
Theory. Yeah.
And
in the book of Revelation, they said the Antichrist or whatever you want to call him said he's going to appear with many crowns.
Right. Well, check this out. So here's where this rabbit hole opens. You ever heard of the Fatima vision? I don't know if you ever heard it. I don't know.
Yeah. It was like the yeah.
All right. So with that,
I was reading on that today.
Right. So what the Fatima was it was a vision.
A vision, yeah.
These 3 kids had a vision. They saw Mary in the sky, and Mary gave them a prophecy, and it was 3 different prophecies, like 3 different things that would end the world, kind of thing, or like, you know, where evil would take over.
Yeah.
Well, the Vatican believed the story, like they took it in. You know what I mean? Like took it in, and through a popular nun in the Vatican. Well, they've had the 2 of them. Well, the third one, the third one, this nun wrote on a piece of paper on one sheet of piece of paper, like, and it was made public that it was on one sheet of piece of paper, but they only exposed the 2. They didn't expose the third one. And this is what gets into the story I was about to tell. Is John Paul I, Pope John Paul I. He was found dead, sitting up in his apartment room in the Vatican, and they called it a heart attack. Well, there's not one pope in history that had an autopsy done on him. So they basically like found him dead, put him in, cremated him, like called it within hours. You know, just called it a heart attack. Like they swept it under the rug.
Boom. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where John Paul II that came into play, and he almost got assassinated.
Right.
And it's kind of like a scare tactic, you know, like, you know, you got to play the game or you're going to die. Well, what they were saying was the first got in and seen the corruption that was really going on, and he wanted to separate church and bank, you know, like, and you got, you know, like, obviously, your Godfather story, you got the mafia, Italy, you know what I'm saying, like, Italy involved in it, and supposedly it was a Freemasons, mafia, Vatican hit
all over that bank that was
put on him. Yeah, right, because the Pope has control, so like he didn't conform to what they wanted, so they knocked his ass off. And then you know, you got that. Go ahead.
Yeah, like, and they were saying that you didn't hear what was in that third letter for the longest time until I think it wasn't. I don't know if it was, but they finally said what was on there. You can actually go online and Google it, and you can see what the third letter said. But they're saying that's just kind of like to keep people away from. Okay, this is what it said. It was nothing. Don't worry about it.
Right. So so they said that the Vatican, like this nun said that it was all on, you know, wrote this all on one sheet of paper.
Yeah.
When the Vatican released it, they released it on 4 different pieces of paper. Yeah. So it's like it's not it's
like
obviously
a debriefing of it. Yeah.
Right. It's not an authentic document.
Yeah.
And it sounded like some bunch of like hogwash.
Yeah.
Well, the conspiracy is that the third piece of paper, the John Paul I, the one who was assassinated, actually got to see it and saw the writing on the wall, and that was, you know, his revelation. You know, that this is what's gonna happen. And the third part of prophecy was that he was, you know, the Pope was gonna get murdered because of it, and that's what happened. Right. But it really gets deep. Like, dude, the artwork in the Vatican it just looks crazy, bro.
They got a snake in the thing, like a serpent,
like what do we call that? Like a coliseum or a conference?
Yeah.
The
cafeteria,
conference room would probably be the conference.
Right. Like a little theater looking room where I guess they hold, you know, they hold speeches or whatever. If you look at it from the back of the room, you can go Google it online. The serpent room in the Vatican. It looks like a head snake.
A what?
Snake, you know what I mean? Like a head of a snake is what it looks like. Looks like a serpent, bro. Like, why would...
look. Right here.
Like, look
Check
at that.
It out.
What the hell does that look like to you?
It's a serpent.
Is that just a coincidence? You know, maybe one time. But then you go look at the rest of the shit that's going on, and the rest of the artwork that's in there, and that shit looks crazy. I want to end this with this before we jump into the next one, but I listened to an interview with DJ Who Kid. Y'all know who DJ Who Kid is?
Yeah.
No.
He was the G Unit DJ, Shady Aftermath DJ during like 50 Cent and, you know, Eminem's era together, where they made that run together, right? You know, where they were on top of the game, whatever. So he was in the artwork and shit. So he got invited to the Vatican. So he went, kicked it with him, and the priests and shit and that, like all that shit you see on TV is a bunch of bullshit. You know, like we get that. You know, like they get fucked up, they get down, they have orgies. You know what I mean? Like they party like everybody else.
And I can believe, like, if they trying to show off some, or like be original to someone that they want to make at home, they're gonna be real with them, you know.
Right.
And I can believe that. It's more believable than, we don't do anything wrong. We just, you know.
Why would you sell that when you really don't have to? In a sense, to me, you don't have to. Like, I don't mean having orgies, but I mean like being abstinent. I don't believe a priest should be abstinent to show their love for God. No. You understand what I'm saying? Like, no priest should have to not carry a wife. Our job, right? Like, you know, our job is presented to be fruitful. In the Bible, it says, "Be fruitful."
Right. Love. Yeah. To lie.
Like, how are we supposed to reproduce?
How
are we supposed to reproduce it if I can't even you know, like I can't even have a cordial conversation with a woman without feeling like I'm gonna kill everybody because I can't even bust a nut. So, you know, like all these things about these fucking molesting kids and shit. Like you turning these priests into fucking crazy motherfuckers because you're selling them. You know, you're selling them heaven from the get-go, but you're telling them they can't have sex in the prime of their lives. What the fuck you think's gonna happen?
I don't know. I don't expect them to result to doing that though.
No,
kids,
we shouldn't. No, we shouldn't. But at the same time, think about you've never been in their shoes.
Right.
And I'm not speaking up. I'm not saying what they're doing is right. But what I'm saying is they were sold a crock of shit, and their heads fucked up by the time they get to where they're in the prime of their lives. Yeah. And that's what you get. That's the result. And
then even after all them stories, like, you still not going to investigate them? They still
well, it's kind of hard to because they're their own little world, bro. That's their own little government. Because then you kind of like...
That's because we allowed it. I mean, society allowed it for them to get this big, to get this much power. And it's impossible for a group to have this much power without corruption taking a part in it.
I mean, look at the United States. Look at the corruption here.
Oh, it's all corruption.
I mean, you think the Vatican's bad, but look at the United States. Like go look down a trail of politicians and see. Just go. You know what? Go look at the amount of crimes that involve politicians.
That's a whole other podcast. We only limit to one conspiracy a week.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we're gonna bring that to you.
Jesus.
we already in next week.
Right. But it all does go back to we can always draw that right back to the Vatican. So.
Right.
Alright. Fuck. Let's stop there.
Quiet.
Take a deep breath. Because we didn't even cover everything in the Vatican. We can do Vatican part through the 100.
Through the 100?
Psychedelics.
Pedialyte.
And he didn't know. And the reason why we're bringing this up is because we were talking earlier. And Oscar's about to go on vacation to Denver, Colorado, right? Where marijuana, which is a bullshit name, because that was some bullshit name that was made up. It's not called marijuana. It's called cannabis.
Yeah, they named it that to make it sound foreign, so they can brand it to Americans as something bad.
Right.
Marijuana sounds. That's a Spanish term. That's a bad thing coming here. Like,
right. What it was is like the two most Americanized popular names in Mexican culture is Mary and Juan.
Yeah.
Right? Which is too Catholic. You know what I'm saying? So but anyway, they called it marijuana. So they made up the name just to make it sound bad because they said, that's a whole nother. I'm not even gonna go in to educate y'all that. But what we're getting at today was that he had no idea that Denver, Colorado actually decriminalized psychedelic mushrooms.
Go Broncos.
And it was a fight. They finally decided to do it. So they're treating it, the best way to perceive it, especially for people at home, is like New Orleans, where we're from, had decriminalized marijuana. So like you smell it, everybody's doing it, nobody gives a shit. Even though it's technically illegal, they don't really care as long as you're not blowing it in the cop's face. So it's the same thing. I guess as long as you're not publicly tripping and, acting out of line and showing, I'm on mushrooms, da-da-da-da.
Go crazy. Go stupid.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not doing anything about it. But it opened up the conversation about psychedelics in general. Now, do you think that it should be legal?
I mean, I don't think it can hurt you. I mean, when I was telling y'all earlier, you watched the Steve Jobs documentary with I think it was Ashton Kutcher. It showed that Steve Jobs would take mushrooms and lay in a field and look in the sky and just get these ideas about stuff. It opened up his mind, and Steve Jobs founded Apple, and Apple, y'all know what Apple is, and then after Steve Jobs died, it's just Apple is pretty much just still his product. They're just changing the phone look. They taking my headphone jack away and shit. But Like it's not gonna hurt you. It's not gonna kill you. It's not like these pharmaceutical companies that they get you hooked on these pills, you die. This is kind of opens up your mind. And I could see if they made marijuana illegal, and they trying to do the same with this. It's something that they made illegal just so they can guide you towards the stuff that's gonna get you hooked. That's gonna get them paid.
Right.
Because it's that shit grows from the ground, so anybody can make it. How are they gonna tax all that?
Right. No, same thing. It's just like cannabis. It's a plant. Just like hemp. It's a plant. Like they can't. Right. They have to regulate. They can't regulate it. So if they can't regulate it, then they get nervous by it. But they could use psychedelics, and I guess they could. It's a little harder to get that one on to people on board with because it's a really true psychedelic.
It takes it to different.
The public perception changed based on the way the media and the news at the time had played it. It's not coached. Put me in, coach. You know what I mean? It's not used properly.
Yeah.
In other cultures, in other countries, psychedelics are used as a religious. Religious ceremony.
When people used to have these visions.
I see dead people.
Now, or like people that was taken serious, it was because they were on psychedelics.
Bruh, you tripping?
And they were able to see this stuff, and they would tell it to people, and people could relate and be like, "Oh, but they don't." They leave out the part where they had to be on another level to really see.
Bruh, you tripping?
And really interact with the stuff that's going on.
Shamans is the guys that they it's kind of like ministers. They would use this as like a religious ceremony, and they still do it to this day. They have Ashwagandha, which is the it's like a plant. They turn into a liquid, and then they take it. We were talking about earlier, Mike Tyson, about the toad hitting the toad. Well. It's called DMT, which is the same thing Ashwagandha produces, which is something that's in our brain. DMT is the same. We feel it twice in our lives naturally. The minute we're born and the minute we die.
Right.
And DMT is relative to, like they say, that's the chemical that's induced into our body when we have those near-death experiences and come back, and they say we see the light.
The visions,
right. I guess the debate comes into play where is it really God? Is it just this chemical, or are they one and the same? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And my belief is they're one and the same. It was regulated ancient, like they're thinking we're gonna go crazy and we're gonna take a bunch of shit.
Go crazy! Go stupid! Ah!
I guess there's crazy people in the world. You're gonna get that.
Yeah. I mean, you have people going and drinking themselves into a binge every single day, like drinking a whole bottle of tequila, but that's legal and that kills. I mean,
right. And that's processed. Like there's a process to make that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a process to make ice go on, but it's more of a natural
growth.
A natural thing. Today's perception is always, that these ancient people are stupid. Like they would just take. They didn't know what they were taking when they took it. They didn't know. Them dudes. They knew exactly what they was doing when they did it. Now they might have never knew what they was doing the first time, but there's always, that's how you evolve as a society. And this is pre-capitalism, so to say. And I'm not trying to discredit money. I like money too, but I mean, we've got to look at things with an open mind, and like you're not learning from your elders by the way we acting. And look, dude, I want to be honest. Like, I'm afraid of shrooms. I took shrooms before. One time. I took acid multiple times. I had more. You know what I mean? Like my shroom experience.
I'm in Debo pigeon coop sweating like a slave, and the only person could get me out was my mom.
Just made me, and I don't know if it was, like the way that I was what state of mind I was in when I took them. I had better experiences on LSD than I had on mushrooms.
Right.
But suit your own. And LSD is made in a lab. You understand?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
To me, the one time I didn't really even. It was so hard like eating that shit. It was just nasty. I even put Nutella on it, but it really didn't do.
Le shroom fondue.
Like
Put Nutella on mushrooms?
Yeah, but I don't like that shit. That shit is nasty. That shit tastes like sour.
He put that
trying to make a PB&J out of that
That would have been better. That
He
would
put that.
shit.
He toasted some bread in the oven.
Yeah.
I was about to throw that shit.
Bro,
up.
so wait. I gotta ask you this. So when you tried it, and you're like, man, this shit is nasty. So your first initial thought is grab the Nutella.
No, they were like, okay, try it. So I was trying it, and then as I'm chewing it, I'm like, my face and my eyes and my expression says, I'm about to throw this shit up. So they're like, oh, wait, look, here, do this, dip it in Nutella. No, that shit was just, it tastes like shit dipped in Nutella. But, yeah, it didn't really do anything.
Well, next time, instead of doing it in the Nutella, try it with the Kool-Aid. You ever heard of that way?
No, I don't.
With the Kool-Aid.
Well,
he's like telling you,
I
look, bro, when you go to Colorado, you're probably gonna do it because
well, this is crazy. All right, so my brother, not my oldest brother, my other brother. Well, he had made it one time. He made it in Kool-Aid, and I didn't know. I was out, man. I was a teenager. I was out with some friends. Well, shit. I come home. I mean, you thirsty?
He hit that
you know?
fucking Kool-Aid.
Well, no. It was for some reason they had it in the fucking cabinet. I'm like. The first thing I'm like, dude, this dude, like, I don't know what the fuck he's on. Who puts Kool-Aid in the cabinet? In the cabinet. You know, who the fuck does that? So I'm like, anyway, I'm thirsty. There's nothing in the fridge. There's Kool-Aid. So fuck it. I threw some ice cubes in there, and I tried to see if it tastes like shit or not. You know, but it didn't. I don't know. It tasted funny, but dude. That shit was crazy. Best fucking Kool-Aid in my life.
Well, all right. So, did he? When did you realize that? Did he tell you drank the wrong shit?
Yeah. When he came home and he was pissed off because like a good bit of it was gone. Because I was hitting that shit. That's fucking Kool-Aid. Who goes and gets one cup of Kool-Aid and don't go back for more, bro?
When did? I mean, you didn't like how much of the Kool-Aid you drank, bro?
Bro, it was it had to have been a good bit, cause dude, I was on that sofa for a while, bro.
That motherfucker.
I was on the sofa for a while. I was on the sofa for a while,
don't even
bro.
remember
And
that
dude,
night.
the only thing I got to, cause at the time PlayStation 2 was out, but we had the PlayStation 1, or one of them where you hit that select button and you see the little crazy color things on the screen. You know what I'm talking about when you put a music CD in there?
PlayStation.
You know what I'm talking about, though, huh? With the music, you put the
screen.
CD in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The black one. It was the black one, right?
I don't know, but whatever one. But it was.
Well, I mean,
tripping
they're
me
all
out.
black.
Yeah.
I mean, but the little small button with the little lines in the front
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, like the PlayStation 1.
That's one thing
shit
that
was crazy.
it made my apps keep moving in my phone. Like there was.
Wait, what?
But that was the only time I ever tried it, though.
Yeah, like it was shaking and shit like that. Like you know when you like hold down your app to go to delete it and they shaking. That's what it was the whole time. And it was like it was just shaking. And I was like, what the hell's going on?
All right, we can get in those stuff. So you didn't have a bad trip?
No, bro. It was just like, bro. Dude, it was hard. I was a teenager, bro. I didn't know what the fuck I was experiencing, to be honest with you. But it wasn't my normal.
But you had a good night then.
It was a good night by myself, tripping balls.
Did he tell you his?
He told me that he was pissed off at me.
So, but he
I'm
didn't
sure
tell
he
you
was
tripping.
bitching. I'm sure he was bitching at me, but I wasn't understanding. So the next day, he did tell me again, like, bruh, you drunk my shit.
Like,
he was pissed.
Right.
Yeah, cause like, bro, I guess that shit it must have been hard for him to get, bro, because you know.
At the time, he was looking forward to fucking. He was looking
yeah.
forward to playing
that
PlayStation.
shit been in the cabinet probably for a minute, you know, and I just went up in there and drunk his shit, you know, like he's
wasn't in there that long.
mad
I don't
at
think he
me.
was in there that long.
But he did ask me, well, did you like it?
Yeah.
You know, he did ask me at the end after he was pissed off at me.
Well, what's a funny story is, now just say that my one experience with shrooms. My brother lived across the street from me. Well, me and my friends were in the house, like, cause my mom had a boyfriend that lived in Slidell, and so you know she would go out there. Like some weekends she would go spend the weekend out there. I mean I'm a teenager, 16, 17, so you know I'm keeping the house to myself. Well, shit, I'm keeping the house to myself. You know, yeah, ma, everything gonna be good. You know what I mean? Like, and as soon as she left, we just fucking partied our ass off the whole weekend. Well, we had my boy went and got shrooms, and he was doing this shit like. every day, bro. Like he ain't had no job. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was fucking going. He would just get up in the morning. He knew the field. He fucking jump in the field, go pick the shrooms, bro, and he was taking that shit every day. Well, I'm like, well, shut. You know, I know you got him. We'll just come kick it on the weekend. Come, you know, we'll boil it up at home. I want to try it. Well, we boiled it up. Had like 10 of us in the house, bro. My brother walks in the house. Everybody got a Mardi Gras cup in their hand. You know what I mean? Like cup in their hand. Everybody drinking something. He might have never noticed it. I don't know if he noticed it or not, but I noticed it. He gotta get thirsty. I gotta go get that fucking tea. So, cause we made a tea out of it. Yeah. You know, you boiled it into a tea, put a bunch of sugar in it. It was in a tea gallon. It looked tea. I went and took it, put it on the side of the house, bro. So he wouldn't drink it, cause if he drank, you know, like I didn't want that shit to happen. Yeah. You know, that was the only time I ever took him, bro. But I took acid a lot. Like,
that was my only time ever doing it too, you know. But, bro. It was a good night.
Well, that's cool.
I mean, shit, I'm a teenager, you know. I'm not thinking right, bro.
Right. Well, it was good that you know, like you might have been in a good state of. You wasn't thinking negative. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
it
didn't freak you out.
Right.
It wasn't something that you were like, oh man, like this. I need to go to the hospital. I need like if you go to take some Tylenol and the wrong prescriptions are in there and you take too many of them.
You take 13 of them motherfuckers, it'll be your last headache.
You're going to that, like that's like he said, people, you make that in a lab and shit, like that's bad for you. You're gonna have a bad experience. But even you probably took way too much drinking Kool-Aid, like you were thirsty.
Bro, I was hitting
like
that
you didn't,
shit, bro.
You know, it didn't put you in the hospital.
Right. You know, it's fucked up. You know how fucked up we. So what we did after we took it, we all hit the streets. We fucking up. We cutting up on the streets. We like took off from the dude. Not only was he just the dude, he was the dude who gave us, you know, like who came home, balled it. We were fucking with him. So we took off running from him. We hid from him. He came back to the crib and he was lost. He came knocking on the window.
I'm in Debo pigeon coop sweating like a slave. And the only person could get me out was my mom.
In my room. Let me in, like the vampire on Buffy. You know what I mean? Like, let me in. And we wouldn't let him in. He wouldn't come in.
That's funny.
Just fucking with him. We wouldn't come. He's like, dude, I went to my house. I took a shower. I got out. I took another. Like, he's telling me this shit through the window. I took a shower. I got out. I cleaned up. I went and took another shower. I just need to come kick it. I gotta go. Everybody's just like,
bro, you tripping.
But that was probably the one thing I remember that was funny. But I didn't like the feeling that, I don't know, I had more fun off LSD and the stories.
So you like the lab shit?
You
a lab rat, bro.
I get,
all right.
You know, I mean,
there ain't nothing
just
wrong
my
with that,
experience.
bro.
I'm gonna be honest with you. At the end of the day, I'm not a fan of psychedelics at all. Like, I don't really like them, especially like the tabs, like the ecstasy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I never tried that, bro.
I've done it a few times, and just when I was younger, you know, everybody was doing, so I just kind of do them.
The reason why I never tried it, because I seen the shit other people when other people did it. Like, bro, they had this one chick, she took it and like she was like out of it, bro.
You tripping?
One of my friends, old lady, like dude, we was walking down Bourbon Street and they had a car passing by and she's like all up in the taillight, like tripping out, like, right. Bro, dude, like,
bro, you tripping?
Some people's tolerant. I mean, I've had people that I was around that just smoke and like that's nothing. That's not gonna. And like start freaking out, like sprinting back and forth, like my heart rate's up. Yeah, dude, you're sprinting. Like chill out. Like,
right. I think everybody's chemical component is different. Like what works for me don't work for you. What works for him don't work for me. You know what I mean? Like everybody's different. So you kind of just be as simple as the kind of coffee you drink. You might not even like coffee. You might like tea.
Tea time. I'm the opposite. I don't like tea. I drink coffee.
Yeah, I'll drink them both.
I don't like tea.
But where I'm going is our bodies are built differently, and people react to different things differently, and especially like when you're dealing with tabs, dude. I don't know. It felt more like a roller coaster ride to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
dude, that's exactly how you can describe it. Yeah, you're up and down and depressed.
Right.
Then,
Right.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
I didn't like that shit.
I'm in Debo pigeon coop sweating like a slave. And the only person could get me out was my mom.
Even when you're in your peak, like when you said the phone moved for you.
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen those things before. You know, none of the shit that other people say when they seen fucking purple elephants, like, you know, jumping the fence and shit like that.
Well, I did okay. The one time I did that, like I was, me and my friend were sitting on the couch.
Bro.
Me and my friend were sitting on the couch and we were just looking out, watching a movie. Okay. And so I'm without saying it, I'm watching my fan and the fan's going like that, spinning, and then all of a sudden it looks like it's like coming down at me, and I'm like, whoa. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna look at the fan. So I'm looking out my back doors. This was a couple of houses ago. I'm looking out the back doors, and then I see like a 20-foot robot. Out my back door doing all kinds of
20-foot robot.
Yeah,
this motherfucker
Terminator. That's what
but this is the weird
bro.
shit. Okay, I don't say nothing, and I'm sitting there like that, and I'm just looking out the back door. My friend, my friend looks at me and was like, "You see that robot too?" And as soon as she said that, yeah, oh, okay, I'm going to bed. Cause
bro,
we both saw, and I guess it was just like I was kind of looking at the same thing, and it said like when you're on something like that and somebody says something, you're gonna see it in your head. But I didn't say anything. I was just looking, so I guess he was looking in the same direction.
The robot.
Yeah. So he told me, "You see the robot too?" I'm like, "Oh." Then I'm like, shit. But yeah,
I don't know. If he seen a robot, it kind of made me feel a little better, bro. Because then I know I'm not tripping.
Yeah. That's why I was like, okay.
It would have calmed me down a little
freaked
bit.
him out like motherfucker.
Now, if he didn't seen that 20-foot robot, I'm like, bro, I'm fucked up.
I mean, it was seriously a big ass robot doing robot shit.
I can see. I can see his justification for freaking out because he's thinking, "Oh, I see this robot. I'm
just tripping." Yeah.
This dude next to you, who you ain't probably talked to in a few minutes, because he's probably in his own fucking rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? You on your own. He turns around, looks at you, and says,
Actually, we were in the middle of playing a basketball game on the thing, and we just put it down because the ball kept going all over the place. So we're like, dude, I don't even know. So we just put the remote down. We were just chilling because the score was 0-0 with the ball going all over the place. But yeah, like I was looking out the back door, and I guess I was staring. And he's like, "Yeah, you looking at the back?" Yeah, that.
He was like, "Yeah." He didn't realize how deep.
So you saying he said it like it was normal, bro? You see that robot too?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro.
Shit.
Yeah, like they were.
There's a
You
fucking
see
robot.
He didn't tell nobody to see the fucking. This dude says,
"Yeah." Oh, you see it
the
too?
robot too.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Where we at? You know what planet we on? We on another dimension. A funny story I have on acid. I was on probation at the time. As a teenager on probation, you got to be at home at 11. I think I may have come home in time to catch that phone call to make sure I was inside, and then hung up, went back out. Didn't give it the hour of cushion. That way she could, she called again. Yeah, I'm good. I just rolled the fuck out.
Not thinking.
I was out all night long. And me and my two partners, they were staying by my house that night. So we come home, and we had call ID on the house phone. I see a fucking call 3 like 4 5. It's like, oh shit. I'm telling them, we all tripping. I'm like, dude, my mom's on her way here, bro.
I'm done.
Like we gotta act like we were sleeping. Laugh, and
there ain't no way y'all gonna sit there tripping balls pretending you're sleeping. They balling
out laughing, bro. They fucking laughing their ass off at me.
And you know they ain't shit funny.
And I know it's about to go down.
And you was about to catch that lick in a minute.
I'm going. I'm
about to catch that ass whooping.
I strip out of my clothes, out of my boxes. Go to the kitchen, bro, and I grab the gallon of milk because they say milk is supposed to like make you come down off of it.
I don't know.
So the next time they see me was like butt naked in my boxes with a gallon of milk.
Chugging milk. Oh man.
Chugging milk, bro.
And I'm like, look, bro, she's coming.
That's paranoia to the 10th power, dude.
Well, sure enough, I was right. she come busting in that fucking door, bro.
Naked with the milk in your hand,
Well,
bro.
I put the milk on.
All right.
But I went in the room, like, look, I'm going. And she come home, and I'm like, I didn't know what to say, so I just fucking lied my ass off, played it off the whole time, bro. And, you know, she knew I was full of shit, but I was home. I wasn't in jail, so I mean, it was.
Had to go Ferris Bueller on it, man. Recording.
Yeah, right. It was a fucked up night. So I'm tripping, trying to keep straight face. The milk didn't work. I don't know why they say milk.
That's some
like,
bullshit.
Makes
That's
it come
probably
back.
that shit don't work.
Laugh at you, yeah. They suckered you to drinking milk in your underwear.
It's a conspiracy. Dairy, the dairy industry says, you know, drinking milk makes you come. They're probably all tripping one day. Let's say, hey,
got milk? Got milk, you better.
Yeah.
Psychedelics, bro. It's a mixed bag for me, and I can see the shrooms being legal. I'm a true believer in, like, we cannot control what God puts on the planet, and there's a reason behind it all. If we're gonna make psychedelics illegal, if we're gonna make cannabis, when we gotta make fucking,
I can see.
We gotta make poison oak.
Tobacco.
We gotta figure out how to make poison oak and poison ivy illegal, because that shit be killing motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, without even trying to.
Yeah.
You know, like,
it's literally like, okay, we're gonna make weeds illegal. Like it's crazy.
And that's a whole nother conspiracy.
I can see weed being legal, but bro, shrooms. I mean, that's kind of hard, man. I like to know what kind of House of Representatives they got out there in Colorado to pull
what
that
happened
off.
with the shrooms,
I'm just saying, bro.
Is they actually did the science to figure out what kind of food, like, how to stop the mushrooms from creating the psychedelic property in the cow. They came on to that, like, so they started feeding them certain foods that would
so it wouldn't grow.
But it might be hurting at the same time. That might be hurting the cow. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
We on planet Earth, like, everything. You know, it's an ecosystem.
Eat it anyway.
It's an ecosystem. Everything happens for a reason. You know what I mean?
Peter coming after me for that.
So we should be. Regulation and education is much better than prohibition. You know,
right?
It's a sad story, because and then when people tell you the shit's illegal, you can't do it. It makes you
makes
human
you
nature, right?
Yeah.
You just want to try it once. Well, why they just to be a rebel at least one time.
Oh yeah, especially when you're a teenager.
Yeah, it's no reason why it shouldn't be. I mean, it didn't work for alcohol. Alcohol withdrawals can kill you, but heroin withdrawals never really killed anybody. Jeez. No matter how sick it is,
right?
It is what it is, bro. It's the truth. So we're gonna end tonight at this, but y'all go ahead and check us out. Follow, like, share. The Turn Key Kidz podcast. If y'all like this and y'all ain't fucking with it, I hope y'all do. We actually did y'all much better before the record button. But
I call it just cause it's genius. They say hip hop is a bad rap game. You can't see it.
O.Verses
on
Spotify, Instagram, where we got give me some sites.
the culture, every color. Obama's take a piece of show you how to use the color wheel.
Any streaming site for music, same thing as Higgnz, Higgnz. Remember this is one eye, not two Higgnz. We got a Facebook page coming soon. We're gonna have an IG page coming soon. We'll do a Twitter page coming soon. We'll do the whole ride.
We got a show coming up on the 3rd.
August 3rd at Mr. C's in Xiaomi.
In September 14th at Sully's.
Yep, September 14th at Sully's. I will be at Labor Day weekend. I will be in Fluka, Louisiana at the Bonnie Home Bash number 3. We performing at Bonnie Home. We performing at and then we got more shows coming soon.
Yeah, we booking them. We got a lot of stuff.
Merchandise coming. Y'all fun. Y'all shit. We're gonna break these things down into clips, the videos, the whole nine. We're gonna do these things right. So right the first time.
Peace out. I mean a microphone. Let our dog flow. We put on